everybody. Welcome to the last big event of the year, the last breakfast we have for thinkLA, the Trends Breakfast. My name is Eric Johnson. I'm the co-president of thinkLA, and along with Jerry McGee, I want to welcome you all to a wonderful event, a wonderful sold-out event, so thank you all for coming. We're excited about this. Again, the mission for thinkLA is to provide the advertising and marketing and media community with great educational and thought-provoking content, and today's speakers are a great example of that. We will continue to celebrate the unique collaboration that happens only here in LA. And we want to thank all of our corporate members, and in particular, we want to welcome all those who joined in 2012, as well as the hundreds of individuals who become members this year. Many of you are here today, so I want to thank all of you. To get involved with thinkLA, attend events, or become a member, simply call our thinkLA office or go to www.thinkla.org. And so now we'd like to begin our program by introducing our event chair, Deborah Lemon, the VP of Digital Media at UM. Please welcome Deb.
Hey everyone, thank you Eric. Thanks so much for coming today. It's the 4th annual Trends Breakfast. Can you believe it? We've got a great lineup of content for you today, but first I want to thank some very important people who made this happen. Our committee, Janae Poirier, Sarah from Saatchi, and Jason Young. They're all here today somewhere. Very importantly, too, I also want to thank our sponsors. There's Jason. I also want to thank our sponsors, Glam Media and Yahoo. Thanks so much for making today possible. First up, let's get right into the content. Our first speakers are from Glam Media, and in her role as Chief Digital Marketing Officer of Glam Media, Erin Matz is responsible for furthering the company's vision of providing a platform for brand marketers to engage with passionate social communities in more meaningful ways across all digital channels. She's going to come up here with Nola Weinstein, who is the Executive Editorial Director at Glam Media, and Nola oversees content creation and curation for Glam's owned and operated sites. Get on up here, Erin and Nola.
Thanks so much, Deb, and thank you, thinkLA. We're thrilled to be a partner here for this fantastic breakfast because at Glam, we love trends, and we also love breakfast, too, so that's great. Here, we wanted to share a couple of trends from our perspective at Glam in advance of the Here we go. In advance of the stellar lineup of speakers that you have, we want to do a quick warm-up. And we're deeply interested in trends, but we're also deeply interested in trendsetters. And in the past, we saw trendsetters as being somewhat solitary and a little bit authoritative. So Anna Wintour for fashion, she is silently judging you, but you always look for her approval. I grew up with a mom who had me in one arm and Dr. Spock's Guide to Babies in the other hand. Julia Child taught us not only how to make soufflés, but what a soufflé was, and where would we be without Richard Simmons? I owe him a debt of gratitude for my love of spandex and juicers. But really, that's changed, and digital connectivity and the way that we interact with one another really has changed that. It also has changed the way that we view and acknowledge what a tastemaker is and what a trendsetter is. Before, it was this singular, over-authoritative, maybe a one-to-many, maybe a little dictatorial approach, and now what trendsetters are collaborative, they're collective. It's a curated experience, and it's many to one. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the breakfast. Thanks, Nola.
Okay, so there was a little lesson in trends for the guys in the room. Thanks so much, Erin and Nola. I'm excited to introduce Kieran Bossum, who is a digital marketing and strategy veteran with an extensive background in helping global brands and startup businesses to create fully connected digital experiences and to develop and launch innovative products and services. He also works to gain the support and trust of Saatchi's most coveted consumer audiences. Come on up to the stage, our first speaker for content, Kieran Bossum.
Social media, obviously the mainstay, the topic of great conversation at all the dining tables, all the major staff meetings, all the recruitment and talent searches right now. Spends an increasing share of budget and attention and interest and concern among agencies and brands alike. How do we use social media? Who's our social media guru? We've got to hire someone for this. That's typically the response. And as for social TV, well, it's exploding. And while I think there's a rationalization coming for these platforms, you can understand that you can dice and slice the different types of social TV platforms out there, and there's one for everything. There's e-commerce, there's companion viewing, there's follow your celebrity, there's buy while you're watching your favorite program, the stuff that's on the program. So brilliant ideas coming to light. During the last Super Bowl, we had 12.2 million comments simultaneously, which was 5 times greater than the previous Super Bowl and greater than the previous record holder, which was the MTV VMA Awards. Look at the number of tweets per second in that bottom box, and you get the sense of just how big this thing is. So from an agency perspective, a brand perspective, the question is always, where do I invest? Where do I spend my time? Where do I focus? How do I build a strategy? And then there's the issue of what's success in social media, social platforms? Exactly. Some of you have seen media and analytics dashboards. Some of them measure sentiment. Some of them measure buy flow capabilities. Some of them measure the performance of your media. And you can do real-time optimization. Those buzzwords sound incredibly cool. But ultimately, there's still a question of what's working. Saatchi, like many agencies, has a strategic planning function. Ours is fairly robust, and we spend a great deal of time doing ethnographies, spending moments of truth inside the homes of our consumers, unpacking their belongings, literally, going through their closets, looking at their items, seeing if they have collectibles, just trying to understand how they craft their life, whether their belief systems are matched by the way in which they digest and consume media, participate in a social environment, what role their friends play in terms of determining what they purchase, when they purchase, how they purchase. Looking at the ways in which certain media are used for entertainment, others are used for information and utility, and getting at the deeper rooted causes of why people feel that there's a fundamental human need to participate and engage, and where the brand plays a role and where we don't. And who are we talking about? Are we talking about people who are interested in us but are not buying? People who are buying? And people who have already bought but are willing to tell their story to others who are in the buy flow? Yeah, it's that complex. Sorry. But if you looked carefully at a simple multi-platform storytelling blueprint, you can understand why there's complexity. So many different types of stories, different types of content that have to be distributed through so many different channels with their rules and their parameters and their engagement criteria, that it quickly becomes a very challenging, dicey situation for even the best agencies and best brands out there to manage and create this sort of unified, cohesive experience while reaching people across an endless stream of channels.
Okay, next up, I'd like to introduce Jonah Peretti, the founder and CEO of BuzzFeed, the first true social news organization that provides a pioneering mix of breaking news, entertainment, and shareable content. Jonah is also the co-founder of the Huffington Post. He has been called, wait for it, a viral marketing hot dog by the New York Times and the poster boy of guerrilla media by Alternet. And I think you're going to see that Jonah's presentation follows one of the trends that Aaron and Nola told us about, all being very visual, Instagram, quick snapshots and photos. Please welcome to the stage Jonah Peretti.
We take sharing as the core metric. It's more important than impressions or page views or clicks or anything else. When people love something enough to share, that is really what matters. So I've been thinking about this question of why things spread, how things go viral for about 10 years. I think that we're all in an industry where if you make something that people want to share, you have success. And if you make something that people see and say, and don't share, you have a failure. And thinking about how things spread on the web is really the key to success in any information-based economy. One key concept that we'll go through this talk is the Bored at Work network. There's literally millions and millions of bored office workers who spend half their day doing work and going to meetings, and then the other half on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, sharing things, IMing each other links. I'm sure no one here does that, but in less hardworking communities, you see this is pretty prevalent. Now there's something that has emerged that I call the boarded line network. So I used to hate mobile. As someone obsessed with how things go viral, mobile used to be terrible. There was a time when you couldn't even text someone who had a different carrier. Then there was a time when you'd send someone an image or video and they'd have a BlackBerry and they couldn't look at it. Now everyone has smartphones that can view media, and it's completely flipped. You can't make something go viral unless it works on mobile. It used to be the mobile stop virality. Now it's if someone can't see something on mobile and click the share button, you're not going to have something spread. So the board and line network is becoming increasingly important. The best ideas don't always win. So case in point, which is higher quality, Judaism or Mormonism? So let's just first see a show of hands. Judaism. Who thinks Judaism? No one? Oh, there's a few there. Okay. How about Mormonism? Anyone? A few? Okay, a few for Mormonism. So I think that we don't need to decide definitively which is a higher quality religion, but I think it is fair to say Judaism is a very high quality religion with a long tradition, thousands of years. And yet when you look at the performance metrics, the Jews are kind of going sideways. Mormons are up and to the right, which we all want in our businesses. And you can see that in 1950, Mormons are a blip compared to the Jews. Now there's more Mormons in the world than there are Jews. Why is that? Is it because Mormonism is such a higher quality religion than Judaism, and that's what it is? It's not. It's that Mormons realize the idea is important, but also a way of spreading the idea is important. And this is a big lesson for our industry. We go into conference rooms, we spend 90% of our time thinking of an idea, and then we leave the room, and as an afterthought, we think, oh wait, how do we spread it? Oh, should we tweet it? Or like you spend this little amount of time thinking about how you spread the idea, and all the time thinking about coming up with the idea. The Mormons know, Mormons keep track of their conversion rate. They go on missions for 2 years where they focus on recruiting new members. They want you to be Mormon, and they think about how to do that. And then they also practice the religion. You have to do both.
Dr. Cole has been at the forefront of media and communication technology issues, both in the U.S. and internationally, for the past 25 years. He's an expert in the field of technology and emerging media, and Dr. Cole serves as an advisor to governments and leading companies around the world as they craft digital strategies. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jeffrey Cole to the stage.
I'm an old television guy. I've spent most of my life in and around the world of television, the most powerful medium ever invented. And in the work I did in television, I was always taught that we blew it where television was concerned. There was no question in the 40s or 50s that radio listeners were going to love radio with pictures. So since we knew television was going to be a phenomenon before the first signal was even broadcast, what I was taught that we should have done but didn't do is we should have tracked people before they had television and then gone back to them year after year as they acquired and used television to see how it changed their lives. And if we had done that, we would have learned some pretty powerful things, starting with where did the time for television come from? When people were watching 3 hours of television a day, and we were asked, where did those 3 hours come from? We could have learned if the time for television came from talking as a family, reading books or newspapers, sleep, or from some other place. And in the 90s, I became convinced that digital, first the web and now mobile, was going to be far more powerful than television. So believing that we lost a great opportunity with television and that digital was going to be even more important, 12 years ago, we launched this massive project. We started in the year 2000 in the United States. We've gone back to the same people 12 years in a row. We've watched as non-users moved to dial-up, as dial-up users migrated to broadband. We saw almost immediately broadband changed everything, not because of the speed, it was the always-on, the direct connection that changed the entire relationship to the web. We started this work in the US. We're doing it in about 34 countries around the world. I want to look at some trends we've seen over the last 12 years. I have about 20 different trends, which are welcome to get on our website or go to our report. But let me take about 3 or 4 of what I think are key trends, and building on what Kiernan and Jonah have talked about as well. And let's start with video and screen time exploding. In 1975, across the developed world, the average person spent 16 hours a week in front of a screen. Last year, it was 44 hours. The difference was 1975, it was one screen in the home on a schedule, the television set. And last year it was 3, or depending on how you count tablets, and we'll get to that in a minute, it was 3 or 4 screens in all sorts of places. You're welcome to go to our website, which is just digitalcenter.org. But it is absolutely a pleasure to be here. What a gorgeous facility. It doesn't remind me of my sitting room, unfortunately. Thank you very, very much.